Welcome to class number 3. There we go. All right, we're going to share my screen. We're going to go to the good old, oh no, not that button. No, not that button. All right, we're going to open up this. We're going to go to YouTube, good old YouTube. What's your
Giggle dude spelled G-I
G-I-D-D
D-D
L-E
L-E
D-U-D-E?
Mhm.
All right.
That's the one.
Oh, well, I'm going to subscribe, of course. Whoa, look at how many subscriptions you got. Okay. Wow. All right, great. Well, of course, let's go by popular. 11. Yeah, let's watch some Minecraft.
This is the Popsicle. It's a new take on the dog toy that lets owners do amazing new things, like pre-freeze treats using homemade recipes, load refills that don't need refrigeration at all, or open for easy cleaning and filling. To use it, simply unscrew the Popsicle, drop in a treat, and you're good to go. Because the Popsicle opens this way,
Beating Minecraft
Oh,
is pretty
wait.
straightforward.
If I watch the whole ad, would that get you more money? Or you, no, you're not monetized yet. Okay, well, now that I've subscribed, you're going to get, and everybody in class, we should all do a favor and like and subscribe each other's work just because. No, hey, let me tell you this 100%. I'm going to tell you this right now. When you're presenting something to me, make the excuses after I watch the video, not before. It's not going to help you by saying like, oh, this isn't my best effort. I want to watch it. And then you can say like, when I ask you like, hey, why did you choose this? Oh, I ran out of time. Or yeah, I know that was a issue. Okay. Don't set it up don't tell me like, oh, this sucks and you're going to watch it. No, I want you to be like, hey, Tim, check this out. And then afterwards I can be like, oh, okay, well, that could use some work. And you're like, yeah, I know. It's a rough draft or whatever. So, all right. We'll probably won't watch all 6 minutes, but let's check it out.
Process. First, you gather wood, then you build a portal, you kill blazes to get blaze rods, craftize the vendor, and then kill the ender dragon. But what if we reverse this process, starting by defeating the ender dragon and our end goal being to get wood? This is going to be a difficult video. I need to get quarter fruit because that'll be a necessity for trying to actually get up this end city. Okay, I think that's where the chests are. I don't know how I teleported up, but I did. That shouldn't be possible. Ah, sweet. And all of the stuff, just like that. Now I have a pickaxe. I'm not even going to waste my time trying to get the rest of it. Here's the plan. First, we need to get geared up for the end fight using the loot inside of end cities. Then we'll find an end gateway, and finally, we'll meet the dragon. And we're going to do all of that just so that we can get to the nether. All I want now is to get to the end ship, because if I get to the quicker I get to the end ship, the better. And those are fairly easy to loot. I need to be really careful. Like, I've literally tried to attempt this for the last 3 hours, and I haven't made all that much progress. Okay. This isn't the worst. I can survive this. I don't know what to do. Okay. Instant health potions. Drink. Kill. I'm eating a cookie right now. Yeah, it's really good. Subscribe, if you want one. This is so freaking scary. Protection 3 helmet's probably better. So sharpness 3, sharpness 4. Okay, I'm gonna go with the sharpness 4. I don't have boots. Can't exactly craft those. I say that we just glide off of this, try to go to a different end city. We could go for that end city, but we need to find an end gateway, because there's no way to get out of this without an end gateway. And I'd like to get myself full diamond armor before I move on. Man, only if I had a crafting table right now, I'd already have boots. Once I make it to land, I'm going to eat some forage fruit so I can get some health up. But I need to be extremely careful in the end fight. Don't you just hate Endermen? Honestly, who doesn't? I don't understand. They're the most annoying creatures on the face of the planet. Or is this actually even the face of a planet? This is more like floating islands in the middle of a void dimension. I think it has to be a certain size to be a planet, correct? Instead of a dwarf planet. So do I want to go to the end ship first? Well, it doesn't seem like too difficult. Why is there always a shulker on the top of one of these?
Yeah, right?
Is it supposed to make the parkour easier or something? I just got to the ground. Okay, this is entirely unnecessary. Yeah, I just need to find an in-game way to defeat the dragon and hopefully get a diamond pickaxe so I can immediately make a nether portal to get home. But you can stare at me, but I can't stare at you. Wow. Wow, the double standards. Sheesh. Okay, diamond pickaxe. I got the chest plate, which is really what I needed. And I need these instant health potions just in case I'm on the verge of dying. So I need to find an in-game way. Just so I can find an in-game.
Okay, we're gonna pause there. All right. Have to go back and like and subscribe to find out if you're able to get wood, right? Like that's the whole thing. You're trying to get wood. All right. Comments, critiques, thoughts.
Well, I watch these every single day because I have children.
Me too.
And
I'm
it was
familiar with some
excellent.
of it.
It was very excellent. I thought it was very excellent. And I thought, I liked how you changed up the music in the middle. That was cool. Like you switched the feeling of what you were doing.
Absolutely. You went like sad music when it got serious and fun music. I mean, this felt like yeah, a professional Minecraft video that I've seen my kids watch 100 times now. I don't know what's happening in Minecraft other than I have played it, so I know like basics, but like I don't understand anything about the nether or whatever. I know there's a dragon, but I don't know like anything that you were doing really, or fruits or whatever you were talking about, which is fine and not for me. It's totally you got the comment here. Okay. So what do you think about it?
So like first thing I gotta say is this was made like 5 months ago or so.
This is your most popular video?
Yeah. So this is
5 months ago.
very old. So it's very different than my latest couple.
Let's see, 8 days ago, huh?
That
Hardcore.
one is just a trailer. So
Cool. And I mean, it's mostly just Minecraft playthroughs
yeah.
or commentary tracks. Last to leave the square. This is cool. Hey, I thought it was professional. It sounded great. Really, really interesting content. So yeah, this absolutely can be stuff that you do for the class to get credits. So would you edit this on Premiere?
Yeah, Premiere.
Okay, cool. Yeah, absolutely. At one point during that video, I did think that audio was coming out of one channel versus the other. So I don't know if you're like, especially with your in-game audio, like you had broken like something, and I only heard the sound effect out of the left speaker. So that could just be a mono mix issue, but we could.
Since then I have fixed that issue.
Great, awesome. Just FYI, I don't really have any critiques because I think that's pretty effective, and it looks like you're found a niche in that. Obviously, there's a lot of competition, right, for Minecraft videos. How do you promote it?
How do I promote it? So YouTube pushes it out itself, but I do like Discord mostly.
Go and promote it in the Discord or something.
Yeah, so I have like a Discord with 50 or
Oh, you have your own Discord. Okay, cool. Of people who like watch your videos. So
yeah.
I'll have to show my son Connor, who this is kind of his deal. So and what is your intended audience? Like
So like I try to aim for like 12-year-olds, so like my little brother's age.
Sure.
But typically based on the data, it ends up being more 21 to 24-year-olds watching it,
oh really?
which is weird.
Yeah, that's fun. It's super interesting. Thank you for sharing. We'll check out some more in the future, especially when you got new ones. Now that I'm subscribed, I'll be notified. How often do you post?
I try to do once a week, but it's more like twice a month.
Sure. And that's the key with like content creation is the more the better. Consistency too, right? Yeah. Having it come out on a specific day, but also like being able to feed it. So that's one of the things is looking how can you do it efficiently. So like we saw a 6-minute video there, right? The one that we watched. How many editing hours would you say that was?
So for that one, it was shorter than normal, but about 7.
About 7 hours. What's your average per video?
So it's gotten significantly more, but it depends on how much footage I have. So for certain videos, it takes 14 hours. For some
Is that
videos.
counting the play of the game?
So it also depends, because sometimes I film for 30 hours, sometimes I film for 5 hours.
Sure, because you're trying to do a challenge or whatever, right? So keep that in mind that when you're a content creator, you have to play 30 hours to make a 10-minute video or something. How 30 hours cuts down to what?
Probably 15 minutes.
And my question is so you're doing this contest. Do you note your edits as you're going through, or do you have to like rewatch or because you're playing the game yourself, you identify like the areas where?
So first, what I do is I use a thing to record like what I call replay shots, which are just the gameplay footage from a different perspective.
Sure.
And so first I play the challenge or whatever. I do the challenge, and then I kind of formulate a story around it that didn't exist before. Like,
Sure. So you're writing based off of what happened, right?
yeah.
So this is almost like a documentary filmmaking perspective, is you capture the stuff and then you create the story afterwards. You go into it with the story in mind, like, hey, we're going to try to do the game backwards and see what happens, right? So here's my question to you then. Do you Twitch stream?
I do YouTube live streams.
Live streams on YouTube?
Yeah.
So like your 30 hours, are you playing that live?
It depends on the video. So that one I didn't do live because that was more like 4 hours of filming.
Sure.
But when it comes to like bigger projects, I do live stream.
So then are you able to do you find audience in the YouTube lives? Like, is that something that people go back and watch? Is that like, I'm just thinking, sorry, we're talking a content creator here. I always have questions about their methods and things. So yeah, like for me, it would make sense to stream my game, get views off of that, then cut it down to a video that's more bite size, right? Like, and then if people want to watch 30 hours of playthrough, they can, right? You're probably not commenting the whole time. Your
So,
mic
like,
setup
for
sounds
live
good.
streams, people want you to comment the whole time.
Sure, yeah.
So like for YouTube videos, people can watch them at any time, but for live streams, I try to do it on like weekends when people won't be busy. But like, I don't get that many views of people who want to watch it again. It's more like 200 views.
There's no replays there.
Yeah. Not many.
Interesting. Well, thank you for sharing. That's awesome. All right, let's go into today. We are going to continue our introduction into Premiere. On Wednesday, it'll be Final Cut. So let me grab my hard drive. We'll go from here. I'm plugging in my external. Remember, you have externals. Hey, Alex, the username and password to get into your computer, which you need to turn on. If it's not on, is right there, the user and password. All right. What's the concern? Sorry.
I was trying to remember what the date was for the
Springfield Showcase. It's the April 26th. It's a Saturday. And April 1st is the day you have to turn it in, your projects, if you want to make it to there. Okay, let me open up Premiere. Oh, for real? Okay. Let's do applications. I'm going to go into my Adobe Premiere. Okay, open up Premiere. I put in the request to update your premieres here in this class. So we're waiting on IT, of course. Did you get in? Once you're in, open up Premiere. It's going to be PR. All right, I'm going to open up my project. We're going to look to see on my TIM drive here. Did I save it now? Okay, I have my film noir. That was the one I was working on. So let's go by kind. All right, here we go. Gav DIA 20, what? Okay. That's the wrong one. Let's go back here and say, I called it Gav. This Mac. It should say open recent. I don't know why it's not opening my recent, which should be somewhere in here. So I'm going to find my project unless I saved it somewhere weird, which I should absolutely have not. I called mine Gav MCTV lesson 1. Look, here's my auto saves. MCT. Okay, so maybe it's on the external for some reason. It's not, my search isn't working, but let's go by name. And sometimes this happens. Gav, okay. I am not seeing my project file for some reason. Maybe it got deleted, which I don't understand, but I'm just gonna start a new project. Okay, let's go back to it. Remember, Gav, let's call it MCTV 43. We're gonna call it Premiere. We can choose where we want it to go. And I am going to just choose it here in the root. I'm happy with that. Let's say create. It wants me, I'm going to skip import mode and I'm going to go back here. We talked about Windows. We talked about the design of everything. Remember, I can go to Window Workspace and then I'm going to choose Tim's Super Fave. That's not the one I wanted. Tim's Fave. There we go. There we go. That looks better. Okay, we're going to import my media. So then I'm going to go back into here. I'm going to choose my folder, which was called Film Noir, and I'm going to import all of the red files, all of the audio. You can see everything comes in here. Ceiling sound effect. Okay, so then remember we went into File, New, Sequence. I'm going to choose a HD 23.93, and I'm going to name it MCTV 43 lesson. I'm going to say okay. All right, now we have a sequence here. Okay, so first thing first, I am going to hide this and move it. All right, so let's talk about making basic edits. Basic edits, we're going to go in here and look at all our project files. Now, what's great about working with red footage or professional footage is we actually have our clap, our slate, which is also a way that we can sync our audio and video. Now, not necessarily all our footage will have this, especially if you're not working with a slate, but we're working with this as an example. So what we're going to go through is we can actually look at our video here in our preview window, and we can find the sync point, which is the clap of the board. Okay, we can see it clap right there. How come we can hear it before we can visually see it? Why does anyone think that? What's faster, light or sound? Okay, so I keep doing that. It's a visual marker. It's not only visual, the slap is our visual cue, but the audio cue as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right to this slap here, and I'm going to go visually where the motion is done. And I'm going to use a hotkey right now. The hotkey is I, which is I for in point. So I'm going to hit an I, and you can note that right here, this changed. Now, I'm going to say this 100 times, so get sick of it. In Premiere, you can do a lot of things in different ways. It just depends whether or not I'm a hotkey editor, or I'm a mouse editor, or if I'm a trackpad editor. And it's fine, whatever you want. But there's also another way. Okay, again, remember I'm hitting the tilde key, which makes this whole window full screen. There's a way to set an in and out point. Now, as we play through here, we can see that our cursor head right here, our marker head right here is showing us where in the clip. So the beginning of the clip's here and the end of the clip's here. But as we scrub through, we can see different elements. Okay, so there's our slate. And notably, we can see that this is shot one or scene one, shot four, take one. And who's directing and everything on there. That's also clues when we go to sync our audio. We'll be talking about syncing our audio. Other elements in this window to note. Tim, I have a really bad computer and it's playing back really bad and I'm using really large red footage. What can I do? Well, I have my red footage here. I'm off my laptop and if I hit spacebar, I'm going to play my footage, okay? Playback seems pretty good and you can't really tell, honestly, if you want to hit some of these lights off, it might be better in class. Thank you. There we go. You can see that the focus right here is good. In Premiere, the way that Premiere works is it's doing its best to use render. So we're not actually playing the actual file. We're playing a render of this file and it's a reference video. So if I hit play, we can actually see that the footage is playing kind of choppy and it's not quite as sharp as it's going to be in the final. Why is that? Well, it's because I have right here, if you can see this, I have my quality set to half. Why is that? Well, it's a giant red file. And if I put it at full, it's going to stress my computer more. And I've already said this once, and I'll say this again. Premiere is going to crash on you. You're going to get the spinning ball of death, especially if you're using the computers here in the lab. Get ready for a crash. But what we can do is an awesome hotkey. We're going to go Command S, and that's a save feature. Again, we set up our auto saves. Yes, Noah.
Tim, what is a red file?
Thank you. Great question. For those who might not know, a red file is, of course, it's a large video file that comes from a red camera. And the red camera is the type of camera that we use to film here on campus. It's notable because we're shooting this clip, I believe, was shot in 6K, which just means it's larger. The K refers to 1,000, which means we're in the 6,000 range of our resolution. When comparative in the sequence that we're using right now, we're in 1080, which is HD quality. So that means that we are about 6 times as big as the image is going to be on the screen. And why is that? We can zoom in and zoom out. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But I do want to note that playing on full will give you a better quality, but I don't recommend doing it in the preview window. And in fact, if your computer is clunky, the red footage allows you to go all the way to 1/16 the render quality. And what does that mean? Okay, change it to 1/16 and it looks exactly the same, right? Well, that's because when you're not playing, the Premiere is referencing the actual source. So we're seeing the full resolution right here. But let me go here and hit play now, and let's see what happens. 1/16 the quality. We can see here in class the pixelization of the entire image. Our frame rate drops dramatically, but we're able to play it, right? So what we can do is we can make our edits referencing the video, but it's poor quality. Now, if you export it, it's still going to be at full quality. This is just so it makes it easier on our computers when we edit. Now, and again, if I pause it, boom, instantly back to full quality. So we're working with a inferior reference video to work on superior footage. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. I personally like to work at least in 1/2 or 1/4. We'll do 1/4 right now. As you can see, we don't lose a lot, but it's definitely not as crisp. Let's look at our image here. It's definitely not as crisp, right? Okay, so we find when I'm syncing video, especially with my slate, I'm going to find where I want to go in and go out. I'm going to do tilde to make it smaller again. Okay, but let's go back to What's another way I can set an in and out point? Well, we have mark in and mark out down here at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to go big again. You can see these right here, hitting I or clicking this button. If I click right here, you're going to notice that my in and out points, this gray part is signifying what is marked in and what's marked out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right to where I want to go. Right before the snap, I'm going to say in, and then I am going to go all the way to, all right, I'm going to go to the end and say out. Okay. So now that we've marked our in and out, let's put it onto the timeline. Now there's a couple different ways to put it onto the timeline. First and foremost, I can drag and drop. So if I drag and drop, and then remember, I'm going to say change sequence settings. Oh, no, I did it wrong. I am going to say keep sequence settings, and then I'm going to control click and I'm going to control click and we're going to say scale to frame size. Okay. But we talked about that last time. Oh, Marty's talking here. Oh, okay, Marty. What about proxies, Tim? Yeah, you can do proxies as well in Premiere. We'll talk about that in the future. For sure, there's a way to work with proxies. You use the media encoder. We'll talk about that in the future. Specifically, proxy work is really simple. It just requires more rendering in the back end. This is how Premiere works with these specifically in this area. Okay, thank you, Marty. All right, I'm actually gonna do this so I can see Marty's text a little more. Okay. All right, let's talk about this. All right, so then we're back here. Okay, so let's go back over here though. So I was able to click and drag it onto the timeline. Now note that when I click and drag, I can, wherever I drop it, it's gonna show up. So it can show up on the different levels of the timeline. Look, I currently have 3 levels of video, and I have, what is that? 5 levels of audio. And you'll note that it's a stereo audio, that it came in with 2 separate channels. Not depending on what you recorded is how your audio is going to come in. And what's notable about this as well is, let's go back to this window. Here's another way that we can bring it in. So I just clicked on the image and dragged. Okay, but also we have these icons down here. The first one looks like a film strip. The second one looks like a waveform. Waveform is an audio file. Film strip represents video. So what do you think happens if I just click this video and drag it onto the timeline? Well, it's only going to bring the video. And then guess what? Here's the audio. I'm going to only drag in the audio. So maybe if you have a clip that has audio and video built into it, you can drag and drop them separately if that's something you would like to do. If maybe like the audio we have here is a scratch track, it doesn't matter. But if you click and drag them both at the same time, it will bring both in. Now, Tim, is there more ways to do it? Yes, there's more ways to skin the cat. Which I'm sorry, but I'll say that another 12 times easily. Other things to note in this window is right here, we have insert and we have overwrite. The hotkeys they tell us are the comma and the period. Now, who can tell me what you think insert does? Any get no wrong guesses. Well, there's wrong guesses, but no wrong tries. No one's guessing. Okay, great. All right. So Marty's not guessing either. All right. An insert edit is just that. Okay, I'm going to teach you a really cool hotkey right now too. So I'm on the timeline and I'm going to hit the plus key. The plus key zooms into your timeline. We're on the playhead. If I hit minus, it zooms out on the playhead, okay? So I'm going to zoom in here specifically. All right. So wherever my playhead is, if I hit this right here, the insert button, I click it. Whoa, what just happened? Let's zoom out and see. I'm going to click back on the window, hit my minus. Again, many ways to skin a cat. Plus and minus to zoom in and out on your timeline, but also our cursor bar right here if you click the edges of these cursors and go in and out, it also acts as a zoom, okay? But what happened was where my playhead was, I inserted my clip. So what it does is it essentially makes an edit. Here, let me choose something that's a little more dramatic, okay? Instead of putting the exact same clip, let me find a close-up. Here we go. There's a close-up of a lamp, all right? I'm gonna do an in and out. Okay, so here we go. We're looking at this clip right here. I'm going to insert edit. And now what we can note is we go from here, we basically make an edit to the lamp right here. And then however, in and out, it then goes back to the shot. So essentially it cuts our clip and spreads it apart and inserts in the middle. Okay, so that is a constructive edit because it is not destroying anything. It's making an edit, but shifting everything. Why is this good or why is this bad? Why would this be helpful? What do you think? You could guess, no problem.
If you want to make an edit, but you don't want to drag it in.
Or if you're in audio going, like the audio can continue going and still line up with matching.
Sure, absolutely. You can keep your sync, right? But you want to move everything, right? So I want to make a cut in my audio and I want it cut to something else. So I'm going to insert my edit. What it does is it'll chop both the audio and video and push everything to the right so that your sync audio still goes and you still have all of that footage. Now, can we guess what an overwrite's going to do? I'm going to hit period. I'm going to hit overwrite. And what we notice is our lamp video comes in, but instead of pushing everything, it just writes over it. Why is this good? Well, maybe I want to put in a different angled shot and I want to keep the audio sync and I want to cut to the lamp, but still have the audio from the other one there. That's something to keep in mind, okay? All right. So now you know what an insert and the override is. The other thing here, which is useful, I use this a lot actually, is export frame. You click here and you can actually choose, make it a JPEG, choose the file format and export the single frame. Why is this useful?
Make a single image or have a thumbnail or take a picture.
Absolutely. We have a YouTube celebrity here in class. So I know that sometimes I hate the auto thumbnails that YouTube gives me. So I'll make my own. And clearly SEO and clickability is probably dependent on the word you put on the screen or whatever. So you can use this to take it into Photoshop or you can do graphics here. You can do a single frame right there. Also just note that here in our edit, we have that same export frame here. So if we put like a bunch of graphics and stuff onto our timeline, we can export that frame. It also can be a reference video. It can be a highlight for your actors or whatever. So notable, that is that. Oh, thank you, Marty. Appreciate it, Marty. Insert media is literally insert in and out point from your source media straight onto your timeline. Thank you, Marty. And we can see here, this is toggle proxies. We'll talk about more in the future about working in proxies, but Marty, right here, you can toggle from the proxies if you're going to, basically you render out your entire proxy onto your timeline and then toggle it back to your source when you're done editing. It's a good way to save RAM on your computer. But Premiere basically works in that anyway. Also, we can see that we have our playhead right here, which is spacebar. And then we have play forward one frame at a time, play backwards, or jump to an edit. This will jump us to the in or out points. See, I click my playhead and now I go to the out point right there. And now if I use the arrow keys on my keyboard and go left or right, I'm playing single frames. So as I'm doing, let's pick something that like actually has motion in it. All right, let's see. Okay, there he is putting on his coat. Okay, as I tab, you can see Every time I hit this, I'm going one single frame. So I can find the exact frame that I want. Let's learn like really cool hotkeys right here. So spacebar is play, right? Okay, J and L. If I hit L, it's a play. If I hit L again, it speeds up it's basically scrubbing at a faster speed. This is double speed, this is quadruple speed, and so on and so forth. As I hit L more times, it goes forward faster. Sometimes I want to scrub through the video as fast as possible. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch it this and find, all right, where is it going to go? Okay, let's scrub faster. Okay, right there. Okay. L goes forward. Here's a fun one. J goes backwards. So if you hit J, it's going to play everything backwards. Why is this useful? Well, if I'm scrubbing back and forth and I'm a keyboard editor, I'm going to use this all the time to scrub through my stuff. And guess what? J, just like L, the faster you do it, the faster it goes. Same works on the timeline. I can hit backwards and you can see my playhead goes really fast backwards. J and L on your keys. Those are cool hotkeys. All right. Let's just hide this for right now. All right, Marty. Okay, so we talked about it. We made some edits here. What else I'm going to do is I am going to look at our timeline now here. Again, it has essentially the same features. Oh, I should talk about this one here too. Okay, add marker. M is the hotkey. Marker's fun, especially for someone who's going through a ton of footage and you're scrubbing through looking for your interesting areas where you found gold or diamonds or platinum or whatever you mine in Minecraft. And you're like, oh, okay, here's the part. I'm going to go back to it, but I can use the M key. The M key is a marker. So it actually literally will make a mark onto the timeline right here. And this mark right here, let's like tab into here. You can see that there's a little nodule right here now in the file. And I can actually go through and make a whole bunch of different markers. And you can see there's my markers and I can actually scrub through and find the marker exactly where I want. It'll note right there, hey, I got a marker, but it will also be there. This is also metadata. So when I pull this footage down, let's watch me pull this footage down. We can actually visually see there are markers on this footage as reference. We can see that, yes? We can see these green here. I'm going to zoom in plus, and we can zoom that there. Okay. Now that we're in the timeline, let's talk about like just looking at our timeline and our sequence. We can organize this differently based off of your preference. This is each their own, whatever you guys are, whatever you want to do. So what I'm going to do is actually, let's take video one, and I'm going to click on the line right here, and I am going to just drag it and watch what happens. It actually gives me much more space, and it gives me a visual representation of the clip. Now, the clip right here shows me the first frame. So that's a visual representation. So I can actually go through, where's our lamp? Okay, you can see the first frame there, there's the lamp there, and there. So that gives me a visual representation. Now, I don't like to work in this because I feel like it takes up too space. And I don't really need the visual representation, especially when I have my program up here and I'm watching my edits, right? I can go through and look at my different visual representations over here and whatnot. All right, I told you left and right. Left and right gives you single frames, right? I also want to tell you up and down. Up will jump to your active edits. So you can see my playhead is jumping to the next area. It's jumping all over this blank area and jumping to my next edit, which is right here. Now, what's notable about this is we can turn off. Look at how we have video up here, right? So if I press up, I would think I would jump right here, right? That's our next edit. No, I jumped over that. Why is that? Because we only have one actively acknowledged level of video. And how do we know that it's active? Well, we have this V1 right here. V1 means it's active. So if I want my timeline to be notified or acknowledge a different line of video, I have to turn on video 3. It's still always there, and it's still always going to be dominant if you have something on top. But I click on this, and now look, when I hit up and down, I am my cursor is acknowledging it. All right, okay, now we're in our timeline. Let's talk about some notable features here. We have, you know what? We have these eyes. Can you guess what happens if I poke one of these eyes? I disabled the whole line of video. So not only is this one alone disabled, but everything else is. And so we're only seeing that one line of video. It's good sometimes when I'm dealing with layered or sync parts, I'll turn off one so I can see the alternate angle. We can also lock the whole layer. What does that mean? That means that I'm locking the layer. That means I can't make any edits. Look, I can move our audio, and it's telling me like, hey, your audio is out of sync now. It's because I have this top level locked. Now, if I undo all this and I unlock it, I can still move my video. Well, that's because I have link selection turned off. Now, link selection, if it's turned on, it's right up here. And I click on something that is technically linked, that means the audio and video originated together. I can click and drag the whole clip together. That means my audio is not going to lose its sync with its original audio. That's good, that's bad. I usually don't work with linked audio on because I want to be able to manipulate my audio and move it out of sync if I want to. But that's totally a tool to have on. Other tools that I have on right here is my snap tool. Yes, Noah.
What if after making my series of edits and watching my sequence over a few times, I decided that I didn't want that piece of video in video 3 and would rather get rid of it. And I think that my edit flows better without that. How would I get rid of that little piece of video in video 3?
Okay, great. We want to get rid of a clip of video, and we want to get rid of this clip in this video, right? Well, first and foremost, I'm going to click on it. I'm just going to hit delete. Boom, deleted, right? Other things that I might consider, because I'm an editor and I'm also a crazy pack rat, I just asked my wife, what I tend to do is I'll actually go Command X, which is cut. And then I like to just I can either do this and put it at the Command V, which is paste, and put it at the end of the timeline because maybe I want to use it again. I have definitely been in the mode where especially where I work with clients, okay? And clients are probably the worst people to work with because they know and they don't know what they want. And half the time they say, take this out. And then 2 days later, where's that thing? Put it back in. So usually I tend not to fully delete, I tend to move. And so what we could actually do, which I even recommend, is what if we do this and say file, new, sequence. And let's call this extras. I'm just going to make an extra timeline, and I'm actually going to paste. Noah wanted to get rid of that clip. Well, I'm going to put it here just in case Noah wants it again. And look, I have another sequence that's opened on my timeline. And now we can go on this timeline and delete it. And if our clients are looking, they never see the thing. We got rid of the thing. But if I need to, I can always go back to extras. Okay. Other notable features, again, with audio, guess what? We can't poke the audio in the eye, but we can turn the microphone off. And that, oh, no, that's the wrong one. Sorry. We can mute track. So that mutes the whole layer of this audio. We can also solo the track. And that means we can just listen to that single audio. If we hit play and we hit solo, it mutes everything else. See how all the other mutes turn on here. And then right here, this microphone is actually what I use all the time when I make the behind the scenes footage is I click on here and then I'm going to say 3, 2, 1. Oh, that was really stupid. We just did a crazy feedback loop there, everybody. It was pretty awesome. My bad. But look, we recorded that audio here. And once we're in audio, while we're here talking about audio, let's drag it down and we can see our waveform. Now, notably, before we got this intense feedback, we got a little bit of audio. We can actually double click here in the audio and look at our waveform, which most waveforms shouldn't look like this. This is what our audio people in here, what is this called when our audio goes like this? Clipping, overmodulation. It is basically, we've destroyed our audio because even if we do what I'm going to do right now, is I'm going to see this white line that's down here. I'm going to take this white line and drag it down. And what I'm doing is I'm basically lowering the volume. Let's listen to it now. All right. Still a little loud. We're at mine. Okay, we can hear it, but the problem is that sound, that muffling noise means we've clipped all the highs of the audio, and it's distortion, right? So we can, even if we lower the volume to manageable volume, it's never, ever, 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 ever going to be recoverable. You can use it, but it's always bad. I recommend re-recording or I would turn off the speakers if I was going to record my audio, because basically what feedback is, for those of you who don't know what feedback is, it's when your microphone gets too close to a speaker, and basically the sound from the speaker goes back into the microphone, causing a feedback loop. So it's essentially multiplying. So I made one noise, which then multiplied, and basically like looking in a mirror of a mirror, it just kept and it would just, you hear that at concerts when the guitar gets too close to the monitor, or that's usually the case. Peaking, clipping. Okay, Marty. Ugh, loud. Yes. Thank you, Marty. Fun stuff. Okay. So so the microphone is good. Why would you do that? Well, I think, oh my gosh, what's your name? I'm sorry, I'm blanking. Jeremiah. How do you record your audio? Do you do it in Premiere?
Yeah.
So you use that tool a lot. You have a microphone though, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So you can connect a microphone. I actually, when I do all the behind the scenes, I use this podcasting microphone, condenser microphone, which is designed specifically to talk into. Snowball microphone is like 15 years old, so it's not very good, but usable. It's like a podcasting microphone. But that I could plug in, and look, I'm going to plug it in now. And what's interesting is then I'm going to go into Premiere. I'm going to go into settings. I'm going to go into audio hardware. Right here is an option. And I'm going to change my default input to the blue Snowball microphone. I'm going to say, okay. And now it's going to take my audio from here. Now, I'm not going to show that because we'll just get another feedback loop, but that is an option to get into. Again, in our sequence, we can zoom in and out like right here. We can select as many layers as we want. Link to audio is there. We can add markers even on our timeline here, specifically not meant for the clip. So let's add a marker there. You can see it'll mark up here. That's useful in case you're editing a long piece and you want to keep things specific. I used to edit a half-an-hour TV show, and I had marker. I use the same time. I just duplicate the timeline and add markers all the time there. Display settings. Now, this will allow you to turn on and off stuff. This is all stuff I want you to play with during lab if you want to see what you want to see. And then right here, insert and overwrite sequences as nests or individual clips. Now, this is a really cool feature that I like to use a lot. It's nested video. So let's say we go into extras, and here, I'm gonna go Command C, which is copy, and guess what? Now I'm pasting. I'm going to paste a bunch of the video, and then I'm going to make my timeline. I'm just going to do some random edits, like whatever. It's all going to look exactly the same. It's going to be hard to tell. And we're going to do a big thing of black video right there. And then we're going to go into here. Now, what's interesting about this is I can go and get my extras sequence, and I can drag and drop it onto my timeline. And this is a sequence within a sequence. It's called a recursive sequence. And why would I do this? Well, and look, I drag and drop the whole thing. I could even like do an in and out point on my sequence. If I wanted to, I could say, let's say, bin, open in source monitor. And I could go in here and I could do an in and an out points and choose my sequence right there and treat it like its own individual clip. Why would I do this? Well, sometimes I'm working with a lot of different graphics and I'm working in a really big, I'm working in a half-an-hour TV program or a long video. And I've edited different clips like stories, like I would take my Gav TV and turn it into a half-an-hour program. I'd have one story completely edited, another story completely edited. So I would do them in different sequences. That way I can move the whole sequence without having to grab like 150 different little clips and making sure I don't miss something, because we can click and drag everything, but sometimes we can miss it. So like, for example, did I delete everything? Here, let me undo a Command Z is undo. All right, so look at all my clips here, right? So what I could do is I could click and drag and select all my clips. And now I can click and move everything that I have on my timeline. Now the problem is what if I click and I drag them all and I go over here and then I look down and it's like, oh no, I forgot these two. And now they're out of sync. That's really easy when you're working with lots and lots of stuff and lots of layers. Now there's another way to do this, which of course I'll tell you. There's this tool right here, which is the track select forward tool, A tool. What does that mean? See the two arrows? Basically, wherever I click in the video, it's going to select every clip forward. So that means I can click and drag everything, including the ones that were down here at the bottom. But to note with this one, it's track forward. So it's everything from where you click forward. So look, if I click here, I'm going to click and only move all of that stuff. And I left the other stuff here behind. Also, most of these tools have like a secondary tool, which you can guess. The other one is track behind, and it'll grab everything that's behind the cursor playhead where you click, the tool playhead. Other tools to note, these are great tools. Here's our rolling edit tool, N. A rolling edit, what does that mean? Well, rolling edit is just this. I will tell you, I almost never used a rolling edit. Very rare that I use the rolling edit. Okay, and this is going to be very important. V is going to be the one that always gets us back to the cursor. So I'm going to choose this. Here's my edit right here. Here's my two edits. I have two clips right there next to each other. I'm going to use my rolling edit tool, which is right here. I'll click on the edit, and it'll allow me to make an edit left or right. And what's that going to do is it's essentially going to take footage from the left clip and draw it out as much as I want and delete footage from the right clip. And that allows me to make edits. So maybe I have a match cut and I'm trying to make the perfect match cut, and I can scrub back and forth right where I want to see where it works perfect, okay? There's a rolling edit. C is an important one too. C is your blade tool. C for cut, think of that, okay? Blade tool I use all the time. So I'm gonna go in and watch this footage, and then I'm going to make a cut, which is like making an in and out point. And what does that allow me to do? I can cut a clip out, and then I can take and remove something, or I can like go through my footage and cut stuff off the end. And let's cut, and then I can click the end and I can delete, and now it's gone. Delete all the audio or whatever. Again, Command Z. Blade tool is useful because I can make all these edits, which are just single blades edits there. Same with audio, video. I can make cuts all over and then remove things if I want. Okay, makes sense. Slip tool. Slip tool, actually, if you click on your footage and you slip and slide, it's going to change your in and out points. So you can see like it's showing me the original and the old. There you go. Pen tool. The pen tool is going to be useful. We'll talk about keyframes a lot more in the future. But the pen tool allows me to add basically keyframes. Notably in audio, it's important. Let's do pluses. And you can see these little dots right here. The pen tool allows me to basically raise and lower the level custom. We basically made a fade. Well, that also works when we get into our effect control over here and we want to change our video. We'll talk about this more in the future, but basically what I can do, like let's say scale. Scale is the size of our frame. So it's at 100%. I'm going to turn on my keyframes, which is the toggle animation tool, which is a little stopwatch. It then automatically puts what is a keyframe right here. And then I'm going to move my cursor head. I'm going to move my cursor head over here. Okay. What is going on? Okay, here we go. I'm going to move my cursor head and then I'm going to scale it down to there. Now I made 2 keyframes on my image right here. What did that do? I basically created animation with my image. And if I hit play, we can see that it basically zooms in. That's a digital zoom, basically. A scale is in and out, a digital zoom right there. Well, what's interesting is I can then note right here, you can see that with my pen tool, I can actually go in and adjust and change elements of it. I obviously zoomed in way too far, right? That's a notable way that we can do scaling here. I don't recommend using the pen tool in video, but the pen tool in audio is extremely useful. This is a shape or a mask. We'll use those in the future. The hand tool allows you to grab differently than the cursor, and the text tool. Now, text is useful. We can say, "Hi, I'm Tim," and it becomes its own layer up here. We can see, and then we start opening up our text windows, which will be over here. Which we can then play with and we can animate and do all that fun stuff. Okay, any questions or comments so far? Got a deeper dive into this. I am going to ask you to like get in there and play with these elements that you have. If you don't have a hard drive yet, you should have hard drive. You should come with footage. And we're going to play around with this. I just want to know that you can open up the windows and everything. The other thing that I would ask you to do, we're going to take a cursory glance at Final Cut on Wednesday, but then get back into Premiere and talk more about advanced editing techniques. But slip slide tool, make sure you know how to put things on the timeline. The other thing that I am going to just show while we're here is this is a really valuable way of editing. Let's go in. We've been working with this one specific file. I'm going to go right here. We can actually look at the visual representation of the waveform. We can actually see the visual point where the audio spikes right here. That is our marker. That's where we're saying action. We're getting the clap of the slate. Now what we're going to do in here is then bring in here and see.
No. The cigarette keeps going out really bad.
All right, that doesn't sound like a right one to me, but let's see.
Scene 4, take 1.
Scene 4, take 1. That's our audio. What I'm going to do is then I can take my audio. I made sure it's the right one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my audio onto the timeline here. Okay. Now what I could do is I visually could sync based off of the collapse of the two things, but Premiere has a feature which is called auto sync. As long as I have reference video, I can select all of this. I'm going to control click. I'm going to say synchronize. And it's going to say clip start, clip end, transcode, or audio from mixdown. I'm going to choose audio from the mixdown. I'm going to say okay. And look, the audio jumped. Look, undo. And then I almost never, okay, redo. We can see it jumps. Now if I play over it, oh, where'd I go? Where'd I go? Where'd I go? Where'd I go? Okay, here we go. Okay.
Okay, here we go. File number set, please. Let's roll audio.
Let's mute the
Rolling.
scratch.
Camera speed.
All right, and let's do this again. I'm going to fit scale the frame size. Okay. Well, we can see we have the 3 separate channels. Now we recorded audio on the boom mic and 2 lavalier microphones, which are body mics on our actors. So I can actually edit the audio. We can see that some are louder than others.
Say about sunrise and sunset.
Things like that can be a bit of a mystery. I only said that because that's the line and the thing. Okay. So that's auto sync. We'll talk more about that in the future when we get more into audio. Questions, comments, concerns? We have about, looks like about 10 minutes left in the proper lecture area, but then I'll be here for an hour more for lab. So let's go. Is there anything else I want to show you right now? I showed you, so we talked about tools. We talked about the preview window and we talked, oh, let me show you one more. While we're in it, talking about assets, again, here's our bin that has all our assets. Here's some useful items. There's this tool right here, which is new item. It's this button right here in the corner. We're going to click new item. New item is going to give us a new, you can do a new sequence, new shortcut, offline a file, adjustment layer, universal counting leader, bars and tone, black video, color matte, or transparent video. Now, what I use this most of the time is color matte. Color matte's going to give me something that's the size of my frame, and then it's going to allow me to pick a color. So I'm going to go in. We can actually use the pen dropper tool and choose something from our image, like, oh, I want something to match right there. Or I can actually, if I have the hex code for the color specifically, or if I'm going to select in here, I'm going to just go Shrek green, I think, say, okay, color matte. Now I'm going to call it green because it creates an item that then ends up here in my bin. Now in my bin, it's going to allow me to adjust it if I double click on it. But if I click and drag it onto my timeline, I now have a piece of video that is basically green screen green or chroma key green. And I can click and drag. Why would I want to do this? Well, it gives me a layer where I can insert something and then I can do Command T and give me a text layer and say, Tim is cool. And then, so now I have a new layer. I want to do this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on Tim is cool. I'm going to go to my graphic template over here. Let's see my graphic templates. Okay, that's the graphic templates. Where's the effects? Libraries. Okay, let's look over here. I want essential. Oh, I don't have a window because I'm in a weird one. Okay, let's look for essential. Let me just go to, because it's all crunched. Let's take a look. All right, let me, you know what? It's these zoom controls that always like mess me up. Okay, graphic templates. That's our templates. I don't want that. Oh, text. Here we go. Meet your color. Dog, where'd it go? Oh, I remember the update changed it. Okay, that is what happened. The update changed it. I'm not used to it yet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Tim is cool. Then I'm going to go to effect control. The effect control right here has all of our options. Tim is cool. I'm going to click on here. So I'm going to click on Tim is cool. Myriad Pro. Let's go in and choose. Yeah, that's a good font. Now I can change the font size. I can change the positioning. And I can actually choose where it's going to be. Okay, let's do some position and scale. I'm going to add my keyframes here. I'm now going to like make it small. And I'm actually going to like add a rotation, and I'm gonna like rotate it like, I don't know, a lot, okay? And then let's check out our animation. Here we go.
Camera speed. You gotta say.
All right, well, I messed it up already, so let's do this. And here we go.
Here we go, flat. You gotta say.
Sleep up, sleep up, no, move it.
All right, so it's too slow. So what happens if I take all my keyframes and make them all closer to each other? Let's see what happens.
Camera speed. You gotta say.
Sleep up, sleep up.
All right, so that's just messing with the key hotkeys and showing you how to create a still image. We can also learn about masks and how to hide all of this, but this is all just basics. We're early. We'll learn more. Questions or comments? Anything you want me to go into? This, when I say question comments, you can ask me something extremely detailed or not detailed at all. Doesn't have to pertain with what I've taught you today. Just know that every week we get deeper and deeper into the edits. Yes.
So if we want to reuse the same assets repeatedly, but we don't want to open up that project, is there like presets you can save?
Give me an example. Like,
So like, let's say we want to use like the same bubble popping noise or something repeatedly.
sure.
So I have it on one project.
Yeah.
But is there a way to have that just automatically in the?
In your sequence, in like a new project, it automatically imports that.
Not into the sequence,
Just automatically in your assets.
yeah, in assets.
Yes, you can create a template. So you have this template. What we can do is we can add a template. Let me, I don't work with, that's a great question. Let me get back to you on Wednesday, okay? Because I know we can create a template. I just don't know if it can pull in the assets specifically. When I do something like this, I tend to just copy and paste my assets onto the timeline. And once it populates in your new project in the timeline, it automatically goes to your bin. Okay, so like if I add something, for example, if I work in my where'd it go? I lost my extra sequence. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I was in a different sequence. Okay, so I have this new project, and let's go into here and let's choose copy and paste extras, and then I go into this project. Well, you'll see that like when I copy and pasted this element, it automatically pulled in my film noir assets that related specifically onto that sequence. So when I do that, I will build a sequence that say common use assets, and I put them all on there. And then when I open a new project, I just copy and paste. That's just how my workflow is. Let me go in and make sure that there's not an easier way, but that is my method and what I've been doing. They might, there's a new update, so I'm learning all the new update stuff too, but good question. Any other questions? Just makes it easier, right? Like instead of having everything built in one big giant project, right? Yeah. Okay. Marty, any questions at home or at work? I'm gonna guess no. All right. Okay, Marty, you don't have to have a question. It's fine. All right, we're gonna finish the recording right now, but that means you can stay on Zoom and keep asking questions. We're going to use this process. Now, at the very least, if you don't have assets or a hard drive to play around with, you can download images or videos off the web. You can use Clip Grab, or you can use YouTube to MP4 projects to download just to play with. I can also transfer you footage. If you want something, I can give you this film noir piece that I have. If you want something right now, otherwise, you can also use your time left to log into this week and comment on the discussion. And every week I want you sharing links, something that's cool, something that you like, something that you've edited, good, bad, or whatever. I like watching stuff and I hope you do too. Oh, Marty shared links. So let's use that time to check out Marty's link. Here's a rough cut for the first half of which, but I forget about that. Watch this instead. Okay, we're watching this instead. All right, hold on. Zoom. We're going to share the screen. Okay, this is, okay. All right, Marty.
Loss.
Deviation.
There is no way.
There is no way.
There is no way.
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 Fly.
Quick.
Strong two.
It's
Right.
body.
The ground.
Stop.
Flies.
Anyway, these don't care what humans think.
Yeah. You know what it is.
Black, yellow, white.
Yeah. You know what it is.
Yellow, yellow.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Subscribe, like, and all right. Marty, I love that, to be honest. Like, absolutely, like, amazing. Like, that's like all I want. Like, I love B movie stuff, especially. I like when I watch those speed up videos. Every time they say B, it goes faster or whatever. I like to show the one with the Lorax. That is like really good. Should we watch which? Let's take a vote in the class. Does everybody think that one's, are we gonna get better than that or worse than that? Well, let's take a look. We'll watch the rough cut of which and see. Well, does anybody have constructive criticism for Marty's the B movie, but literally not the B movie? Marty, how long did that take to edit? I feel like getting the footage was probably the hardest part.
How do you about, like, there was this massive discussion as I was picking up my kids and they're discussing about copyright rules.
Yeah.
And so how do you get away with the fact that, you know, those are all,
Copyright photos. Well, first and foremost, you can post something like that as long as you're not monetized. You're not making any money off of that copyright stuff. But also, like, depending on the artist, that short a clip will never like get hit with a copyright strike because, I mean, AI is getting better, but it's like you're allowed to use something like, you can use like 7 seconds of a song, copyright free, or it's like 4 seconds of a song. You can actually have a song if you're commenting on top of it, like if you're using it. So something like that isn't going to get copyright strike. Now there are certain artists who don't allow anything they're used. They're like, you ever try to post a Beatles song on YouTube, it's like an instant strike. Oh, okay. So Marty says it took 2 days, and found a site where you can just search for specific words and the site fed the scenes for specific words. Oh, so that sounds like it would be way easier, Marty. Come on. You should have done the whole movie in 2 days. But yeah, does that answer your question as far as
Yeah, I mean.
what can you put up? So like if I'm just going to air like the actual B movie, probably not. Now, what you can do and what I've seen done is they find a way that they reverse the image or change the colors, and
Yeah,
then those
like
are
there's-
up, but like ultimately that gets taken down as well.
Yeah, there's this one YouTuber, GMS, where he has like Mario and Luigi that's all distorted,
Yeah.
and like
That's the copyright. Like there's fair parody. That's the concept. If like you can parody something, but ultimately like Nintendo's super litigious. So they come after like anything. And you know, it's like super weird.
Interesting, Nintendo doesn't go out there to their music if it's related to game. So any gaming music, if you have a gaming video, any of the music from Nintendo games is.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna point out is
Lost. Radiation.
all right. Subscribe again, and there we go. All right, I got a bunch of YouTube channels because I am a content like a social media manager, so I have a bunch. But this is my original channel, and one of my more popular videos, and it's all just like we made this last semester. Here's a good one. Let's see.
I'm gonna ride the worm.
Good, right? Pretty good. We made that in editing class last year in 5 minutes. So we'll see what we make this. I was obsessed with the worms in Dune 3 a year ago. So we'll talk more about that, but let me see. All right, I got 300,000 views on this, which has never been copyright struck. And it's essentially a minute of a Harry Potter movie. So why hasn't it been taken down? I don't know. But there's a short.
And we're back. The team is looking down the barrel of a 455 meeting.
Harry. Watch 7 stairs. It's a bit icy at the top.
Okay, thanks. Joe?
Yes.
I just wondered if you, I just maybe want to go bowl with me.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I was just wondering if maybe you wanted to go to the ball with me.
Oh, Harry, I'm sorry, but someone's already asked me.
Oh, what?
All right, that's the whole video basically. The funniest part is like I get a comment like every 2 days on this video that people are just like talking about shipping Harry and Cho or whatever, but like no one ever watches the bird, which is like the point. So maybe that's what's kept me from being copyright struck, but I don't make any money because I already have like 2 strikes against my YouTube channel anyway. So
How'd you get all these strikes against me?
I used to like do a Survivor podcast and like make fun of survivors on there, and they would report me. So I got reported a couple times. Yeah, so, yeah, so that's awkward, Bird. So does that answer your question? What, how did we even get there? Oh, Marty was, oh, we're gonna watch Witch. Sorry, got distracted. Got distracted. All right, here we go. Let's watch Marty's other. Cool match cut right there. I'm assuming there's no audio. Oh, there we go.
Imagination may arise from truth as a dawn. The world conceals a myriad of mysteries, entwining truth in its fabric, falsehoods and legends.
That's my daughter.
Verily, some truth shall be swallowed by time, lost amidst the waves of folktale. Thou must comprehend, child, the history that envelops thee, whence thou cometh and who thou art. If I may recount the tale of a creature oft deemed a myth, it might prove true to thee. Wouldst thou care to hear the tale? Many a maiden of our law stood accused of a grave sin, a sin so grievous to the common folk that those accused would inevitably face punishment. Many a maiden fought, but many a maiden were lost. Yet there was one accused who would not yield so easily. This maiden, she fled. The village folk struck fear into her heart. They whipped and hanged her kin, oft not. Her comrade, all who knew her for a saint, gone. All who she had known had been sons and daughters of mercy and prayer. Those who saw her for a witch would stop at nothing to see her burn.
Thou hast come to the woods to consort with the devil, hast thou not? Thou thought thou could escape the questions of the court and avoid confession. Return with us in peace and confess the truth of thy witchery, or be hanged.
I have not to confess. I have done naught to harm.
Lies!
Thy kin has laid curses upon the village. Thou bewitched my family and brought death upon them.
The king doth not fall ill because of me. I have no part.
My family fall ill as well.
Thy wicked spells have brought sickness upon us.
Thy family falls ill because thy family is a filth.
Explain then, child, how thou art the only one who has not fallen ill. And how cometh it that thy family cannot recite prayer?
You have witnessed the demons who dance around thy window.
I have witnessed thine harlots who dance round thy own.
Insolent.
I have not to do with such evils, I swear it!
She knoweth not our God. She is a witch. The devil waggeth his tongue in her mouth.
Leave me be!
Burn the Thou ought to leave with the devil, a witch.
I'm innocent to a witch.
You shall part of this witchcraft from our midst.
Foul lies.
Let me go. Please. Allow me leave. Thou shalt never see me again. Let me go, and I shall disturb thee no more. I swear to thee, I am innocent.
Thy petty pleas are no longer of use, child. Spare the village from further harm, and confess thy dealings with the devil.
Let me go!
By the authority of God, I demand thee to reveal thy witchcraft, or thou shalt perish.
You must make confession.
The goddess exists.
Yeah, we're excited for that one, right? Thoughts, critiques, comments, questions? We have the Marty on Zoom. Forgot how rough this was. Yeah, I feel like I've seen a better one. By the way, we put you saying I'm gonna ride the worm in the sound in the Discord soundboard. Great. Okay. Good to know. I didn't realize I'm gonna ride the worm made it. But any thoughts from people here for Marty? I mean, obviously a rough cut, and Marty's goal is to finish this by, I'm guessing, April for the film festival. And how's it going, Marty? Noah in class here is in the piece. He's a monster. I think that's the first time I met you, Noah.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all that's left is VFX and music. Cool. Hey, post-production. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing. I'm going to stop recording now. Thanks for class. Make sure to comment, use this time. If I was you, I'd log in and do my post for the week and comment, and then I'd play around with the edits and everything. I'm going to hang out here for an hour so we can talk and or feel free to leave. If you need an ad code, everybody at home, if you're watching this, you probably don't need an ad code. But if you need anything, the big thing I want to say, and all of you are here participating, but if you don't participate and you saw this, text me and let me know you're in the class, because I have to drop people who aren't participating by the end of this week. All right, I'm gonna stop recording now. All right, Marty needs